Hey Dan, do you remember Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis? It was a point-and-click adventure game released by LucasArts in 1992, starring the eponymous Professor Indiana Jones. I'm playing this on the Scum virtual machine. Scum, or the script creation utility for Maniac Mansion, was the game engine used by LucasArts for their point-and-click games. Scum VM, similar to DOSBox, allows you to run these older programs on modern machines. Originally, this game wasn't fully voiced, but a year after its initial release, it was re-released on CD-ROM with all of the dialogue recorded.
All right, Jones, how you gonna find that statue and all this junk?
So when you start out, Indiana Jones crashes through this window, and he finds himself in this attic with a bunch of objects around him. You can just, as the name implies, point and click on them with your mouse. And he'll walk around and investigate things.
Some kind of funeral urn. It's a stone carving of Shiva. It's a genuine candlestick.
As opposed to some other form of candlestick.
It's a copy of an Egyptian statue of Horus. Poor Marcus. He thought this was a Maasai warrior.
And this just sort of gets you used to the idea of pointing and clicking. And it also serves as the credits for the game.
Oof.
So you can see Indiana Jones will pass from room to room, often getting hurt along the way. Because it wouldn't be an Indiana Jones story if he didn't get roughed up a little bit.
Looks like beadwork from the Phoenix collection. Marcus thought potlatch Indians carved this. Looks like a movie prop to me.
And he doesn't have a lot of respect for Marcus, it seems.
Looks like textiles from the Shamet collection. Looks dangerous.
Case in point. Not only does it feature full voice acting, but it also has some really nice music. A lot of it derived from the John Williams theme.
I don't need them. They're just textbooks. I've done enough climbing today. I think I've read them all. There's nothing of importance here. There's nothing of importance here. These books don't look familiar. Uh-oh.
He's certainly getting roughed up a lot more than you would expect a professor to go through. Now you can skip through this beginning section by hitting the escape key,
Better get that roof checked.
but if we did that, we wouldn't be able to enjoy all of Indiana's witty remarks.
A cheap copy of a Siamese idol. Yow! It's hot.
Let's see if we can find what we're looking for.
A fine sample of bitumen. I'll be. Here's what I've been searching for. Strange looking thing. I wonder where Marcus picked it up.
A better question is, how did it end up in the basement, in the last locker there? And having found what he was looking for, Indiana Jones crosses the street and goes back into his office. And here we get introduced to the main antagonist of the game.
I'm back.
Indy? You don't look at all well, Dr. Jones.
Exploring our collections can be dangerous, Mr. What was your name again?
Smith. Tell me, did you find a lock to match my key?
You bet I did. Take a look.
What are you waiting for? Let's open it.
Why not? It's an obvious fake.
You may think so, Doctor, but I believe we are opening a new chapter in history.
My word, Indy, a small metal bead. Jewelry, perhaps?
I still think it's a fake.
Then you won't mind if I take it.
Really, Mr. Smith?
Stand back, gentlemen.
I hope you've got a getaway car waiting. You'll need one.
What is fates? He got away.
But we got his coat, Marcus. Hey, what's this? Klaus Kerner, huh?
Good Lord.
Yep, it wouldn't be an Indiana Jones game if there weren't some Nazis.
What does the spy want with the Buddhist statue?
I lied, Marcus. I don't think it's a phony. I can't place the style, but it's old.
Look what else our friend was carrying. An old copy of National Archaeology. And there you are in Iceland.
Yeah, field supervisor for the Jastro expedition. My first real job.
And we introduce your companion for this adventure.
Sophia Hapgood. She was my assistant, a spoiled rich kid from Boston, rebelling against her family.
Where is she now?
She gave up archaeology to become a psychic.
How odd.
You can say that again.
Indy, Kerner found you. What if he finds her? We should warn the woman.
You're right.
That was a pretty
I
quick
wanna know
change.
more about that statue. You know, Marcus, the coldest year of my life was the one I spent in Iceland with Sophia.
Alright, and so now we enter into the game proper. And this layout was very standard for games using the Scum engine, where you have a series of verbs down here at the bottom left, and then on the right, an inventory which will fill up with items. Since this is a point and click, we are going to be picking up pretty much everything that isn't nailed down. As you hover your mouse over things, you'll notice that there'll be a certain word that gets highlighted, and so you can either click directly on the verb and then use it on any object that you find in the environment.
Imagine the suckers who actually pay to see Sophia's Lost World lectures.
Or, if you right-click, it will automatically do whichever verb is highlighted.
Sophia always wanted her name in lights.
You can also use keyboard shortcuts, so G for give, O for open, C for close, P for pickup, T for talk to, L for look at, U for use, and then S for push. And I'm not sure if there's a way to do pull. I haven't found one, because of course P is pick up, U is use, and L is look.
It's today's paper.
Since the news agent is closed, we can take that with us.
Hello there.
The show sold out, sir.
So once you talk to someone, you'll see these dialogue options open up. Of course, no matter which one of these we pick, the response is going to be the same.
No seats, no standing room, no exception.
So here's our first puzzle, getting into the show. One other thing to know about this is if you hit the I key, it'll bring up your IQ points, or your Indy quotient, which is a reflection of how well you've been doing with the puzzles so far. Now, with most point-and-click games, once you know how to solve all the puzzles, there isn't much replay value, but this game, there are actually 3 different paths you can take, called Team, Wits, and Fists, which will actually change the challenges that you face, so, you know, there is actually a decent amount of replayability. If you ever want to drop down a save, just hit F5. Let's put one here. Let's call that Matthew 1. Because there's actually a branching path here, where you can either open the back door and get into a fight with the bouncer.
What do you want, pal? This ain't no ticket office.
I'm here to fix the lights.
There's nothing wrong with the lights. Now get lost.
Wait a minute.
There's no way to convince him to let you inside,
What for?
but if you antagonize him enough,
Let me in, you Darwinian nightmare.
he will start a fistfight with you.
An insult.
Well, what do you think?
I think I'm tired of fancy Dan college boys who use big words, and I think you'd better apologize.
It does give you the option to walk away from the fight, though.
Well, why should I, you fat tub of lard?
So what you do is you just click with your mouse on the body, so you can hit low, hit high. You can see Biff has his health bar, you have yours. So the idea is to sort of open up their defenses by varying where you're hitting them and eventually knocking them out.
The bigger they are, well, you know.
So you can either just walk in through the back door at this point, but rather than do that, I'll show you the sort of wits way to get through. So you can see there's a fire
The
escape,
way looks blocked.
but you can't quite get to it, so you have to do a combination of pushing, let's see, and pulling these crates out of the way. So the next one is over here, and we're going to push that one. There you go, step a bit closer. And now pull this one,
It won't go any further that way.
or push it. There we are. And one last push. And we can shimmy our way up the fire escape.
You must be the new doorman. About time they got rid of Biff. He was such a pushover.
I want a reading with Miss Hapgood.
Are you crazy? During the show? Write her a letter.
Excuse me.
Take it easy and watch the show.
And this is mostly
Here,
just an
my
info
friends,
dump.
is Atlantis, as it might have appeared in its heyday.
With Sophia giving a presentation on Atlantis.
Socially and technically advanced. Beyond our wildest dreams. 5,000 years ago, while everyone else still wore animal skins, the mighty spirits of Atlantis dared to build a city where knowledge and power were united in true happiness. Centuries later, the famous philosopher Plato wrote about it. He placed Atlantis on a continent out in the deep ocean and described how it was divided into 3 circular parts, such as you see here.
Isn't she something? She can go on for hours.
Now, in order to progress, you do need to either sit through the rest of her presentation or skip through it by hitting escape. But to start those sections, you either try to walk towards
Hey.
her,
She's just coming to the exciting part.
and the stagehand will stop you.
What befell this serene city? We may never know for sure. Was it the sea level slowly creeping higher, or the earth itself suddenly shifting? However it happened, panic must have gripped the citizens on that fateful day when proud Atlantis sank beneath the waves. Or perhaps it was a volcanic eruption, and something remains even now. On some questions, the great spirit who guides my thoughts, the all-seeing Nurab Sal, is silent.
I've been through this 100 times. The woman never stops.
Or you can try to talk to him.
Excuse me.
Yeah, what now?
There you go. So, obviously, we want to get him to go away. We can try
You
a
look
few
tired.
different
Wouldn't you like to
tactics.
call it a day?
Nah, sooner or later I get to run the ghost out there. That's always a big moment.
And that's the ghost he mentioned.
Excuse me.
So what you really need to
Yeah,
do
what now?
Isn't there something you'd rather be doing?
is get him to talk about reading.
Like what? Show business is my whole life.
Don't you have any hobbies?
Sure, I read.
What if I give you something to read?
I might take a look.
Which is our cue to give him the newspaper.
Here.
Well, the late edition. I wonder if the Dodgers won. Watch the lights while I find out, okay?
And now with him out of the way, we can mess about with these levers. So you can see if you push the one on the left, then the lights change from red to yellow. If you push the middle one, they go back to red, so you actually are meant to leave that one where it was, but then also push the right lever. There we go.
It appears to control this ghostly stage prop.
And then if we use the button,
There it goes.
And
we'll
I
send the
still
ghost
feel
of
the
Nur-Absal
presence
out.
of Atlantis through... May I present Nur-Absal, the great Atlantean god of
Deceit!
deceit. Thanks, Indy. Indiana Jones? You've got some nerve. Go back, you big jack-o'-lantern. Oh, great. Good night, folks.
And now that her show's over, we can finally get a word in with Sophia.
Come on, mister. I've got a few words to mince with you.
I'd say it's about time.
But sure enough,
Oh, no!
Looks like Kerner got here first. Stay put. No one here. Nor here either.
Dr. Uberman, fantastic news. We found the treasure we seek.
yeah, it looks like he got a new jacket. Just like the old one.
That's the second time Kerner slipped away. What does a Nazi spy want with old statues?
Have you seen the newspaper? Listen to this. Germans claim victory in worldwide race to smash the Uranian atom. Chief scientist Dr. Hans Uberman announces plan to harness new sources of energy for the Third Reich.
So? Practical results are years away.
Of course they are. That's why they're looking for the power of Atlantis.
Be serious. I used to think you'd make a good scientist.
And now we get to find out part of why Sophia is in Indy's bad books.
Yet you've been dealing goods on the black market. Artifacts such as archaeology has never seen. You're lucky I don't have you arrested.
She's also a quick changer.
So what if I kept a few pieces for myself? Look for a small coppery bead under those clippings in my desk.
What do you know?
Kerner missed the grand prize.
What?
My necklace. Watch closely. The bead is made of orichalcum, the mystery metal first mentioned by Plato. Now I'll place it in the medallion's mouth. Did you see that?
Yeah, creepy. Is your electric bill paid up?
That was Nur-Absal. His spirit is close.
Don't try your psychic act on me. Suppose I gave this orichalcum business any credence, which I don't. You may have just used the last bead.
Shh. I'm getting something. Nurab Sal speaks. He bids us find the... What? Oh, a book, yes. The Lost Dialogue of Plato.
Another fine myth. That book is a legendary hoax.
What if the Nazis have already found a copy? You ever think of that?
This is interesting because it sort of jumps ahead to the idea of Iceland. But it really seems like the first line of dialogue is the only one that really makes sense.
You found this stuff in Iceland, right?
Yes, near our old dig site.
I thought so. Who's working there these days?
Bjorn Heimdall, I believe.
Maybe we should pay him a visit. What do you say?
I thought you'd never ask.
And so begins the globe-trotting part of the adventure. There are quite a few different locations that you'll visit, and you'll see the world map expanding to include them as you sort of get clues about where to search. Well, Dan, that's where I'm going to stop it for now. Next time, we'll start our conversation with Bjorn Heimdall and see what we can find out about these Atlantean artifacts, and see where else this adventure will take us. And if you have any questions or comments or anything you want me to go over in more detail, you just let me know, okay? Alright, I'll talk to you later.